So I promised I'd get a little bit further into the subject of algorithms, let's say personal algorithms, to distinguish them from, say, computer algorithms, programming algorithms. But there's a similar process and philosophy behind that, which is if you think of each portion of the algorithm as an executable command, then what you've done is you've set up in advance the order and the items which you want to execute on in a given time-bound module. I already explained what a module was prior. So for me personally, algorithms take the form of splitting the day up into logically determined chunks of time during which I perform dedicated tasks. So I start the day with a morning module, and it's the very obvious stuff that you would assume every module contains, such as, your hygiene routine, but remembering to charge my devices, my phone as well as necessary, remembering to gather all of the things that I need to go to the gym. Currently under lockdown, that is not quite possible, but I have an adjusted series of algorithms and modules for this period of time, and that is something that you will find you do need to do from time to time as your life changes. But that type of thing, making sure you've got all the stuff you need, making sure you've, for example, taken the trash out on your way out because it's a good time to do it. Why not? You don't want to have to go down to the trash and recycling if you don't want to go back out again later in the day. Just everything that goes into a morning module, that is what my algorithm comprises first thing in the morning. Then I typically have that exercise module where I go to the gym, I exercise, I take my shower, I get ready, I go to work. When it comes to work, I've got a series of 4 modules that I use there. The first one, the admin module, is a list of the things that I have to do each day to set myself up for the day. So the very first thing I'll do is take a look at my calendar and our holiday calendar, which for some freaking reason is not synced. Do not tell anyone I complained about that. But I check the calendar or calendars as necessary, determine if there's anything that I didn't already set up on my list of time-bound things per day that I need to add. Then I check my email, because if there's a new request that I didn't see since the last time I checked my email, I want to make sure that I make a decision about when to respond to it or handle the tasks that it necessitates. I don't necessarily do it right then. In fact, I don't, because I'm still banging through my admin module. But I have a few other tasks. I have some sort of recurring lists that I like to refer to on a regular basis, and that is by choice. It does not fit into the category of processing things too many times, because I decide when I'm going to look at it. If it's something I don't want to immerse myself in on a daily basis, I put it in another place where I look at it less frequently. But the things that are on, for example, my Eisenhower matrix that get moved from day to day, I do that on purpose. It's part of a ritual that immerses me in the things that should be in my immediate line of sight and my immediate focus. But I'm getting a bit off track and should come back to how I use that ritual process in the Eisenhower matrix in another video. What I want you to take away from this is that I start my day always, barring an immediate meeting or some other, extenuating circumstance, I start it with this admin module, and that one is very fixed. I actually have a little reference post-it to make sure I don't skip a step or that I don't do it in a dumb order, because I've already predetermined the order that it makes sense to me to do it in. Basically, I'm processing inputs that might affect my planning for the day. And I end that module by having a short list of on one of these of relatively time-bound tasks that I will follow up on through the rest of the day. And something that goes into that list, that short list, is the decision of when to incorporate my other modules. So I have 3 other modules, which are algorithms, very loosely defined in this case, of like tasks that I perform on a predetermined recurring basis. So for example, I've got a communication module, and that is one that incorporates such things as like going and having a conversation with someone through whatever format, getting an update from someone, asking questions, and I actually keep a repository of questions as well, so that as I think of them, I dump them there, and when it's time to talk to somebody, I have them ready, rather than reactively knee-jerk asking the question if it's not immediately important to get the answer. Rabbit trail. So other things that go into the communication module would be meetings. And for meetings, I guess this is a bit of a mini algorithm as well. I have a preparation portion, a meeting itself portion, and a recovery and capture portion, during which I go back through my meeting notes and fill in any information that's still in my mind but didn't make it onto the page, and or capture action items, questions, etc., that come out of that meeting. So anyway, that's the communication module in a nutshell. I also have a sort of learning and development module, and I have a program management module, which is the basis of my job, since that is my title, is to manage programs in this sort of overseeing project managers fashion. So basically, I have predetermined the types of recurring tasks that I need to make sure I'm doing to be successful at my job and to progress. The development is also about that. But I don't necessarily undertake those every single day of the week, but I set ahead of time a target number of times per week or number of hours per week that I want to build it into my schedule. So when I'm planning my week at the end of one week before the next, I pick which days I think it's most logical that I would do those types of tasks. I also think about what day I want to go through and just bang out fast actions. And so really, I'm making a lot of decisions ahead of time and using this modular idea that I discussed in the previous video to build the algorithms that actually, again, predetermine the steps in which I do things, or the components of what needs to be done during that time-bound module. So I figure you're dying to see some more examples of modules, although I'm wrong, right? So something else that I do in addition to the daily modules is I basically have a weekly schedule that determines what goes into those modules, because there's a bit of flexibility in what gets plugged into the algorithms per module, depending on what day of the week it is. So, for example, this is something that's always in flux because, for example, right now I'm staying somewhere where I'm usually not, and under the condition of working from home, it's a bit different. But Monday is built in as a sort of weekend overflow day. So I've got a lot of things that I plan out for Saturday and Sunday, and if I don't get through the entire list of things, for example, maybe I have not finished doing the laundry, I've got actually 2 days, both Monday and Tuesday, that I consider overflow or flex days that I can continue to take actions that I did not entirely complete over the weekend. On Wednesday, I've got a recurring appointment. There is also generally something that happens out of the house, which frees me up to do something that requires quiet at home on a Wednesday. Thursday is the day that we have access to the sauna, which changes my schedule a bit. And then, as I said, I've got a lot of things that I delegate to the weekend, such as social commitments. And so those things will change, but according to the time of day, I've already got a module built in for when I would do those things. Food prep is a big one too. Another thing that I incorporate is a calendar-based day for content creation. So a content creation module is a predetermined period of time during which I focus on stuff like this. This is content. And what I have done for now is I pick the days I'm actually working for my job and I eliminate this content creation module. But on days that I'm not working, I spend 90 minutes on a project of my choice, and there's the flexibility in the algorithm. It's a very open module, so it sort of lacks an algorithm. The only thing that is required is that I do some sort of content creation or editing, polishing, whatever, during that module. And again, that's calendar based. Right now, my days for doing that are Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I've got a adjusted amount of finished lessons per day, also based on what else I've got going on that day and what effect it's likely to have on my focus or my privacy to work on pronunciation. So again, I think the concept of algorithms is probably pretty clear. Again, it is just a set of executable steps in a predetermined order that makes sense and grouped together into a module that again makes sense, that you either have at a fixed time of the day, which is my preference because of the predictability of my moods and energy level and needs and location, etc., but that you can move around as necessary on day of the week, time of day, etc., according to your needs and what works best for you. And you can think of that as a type of algorithm in itself or not. It's up to you.